It was just another ordinary morning. The sun had barely risen, the streets still wrapped in a sleepy fog, and a dog tugged impatiently at its leash. But what happened next would shatter years of silence, because in the shadows of that quiet path, a routine walk uncovered evidence that would solve one of the most chilling cold cases detectives had ever faced. For nearly 2 decades, the case had sat unsolved, gathering dust in police archives. A young woman had vanished on her way home from work, her keys still in her purse, her car parked exactly where she left it. Detectives had scoured the city, interviewed friends, lovers, and co-workers, but every lead collapsed into dead ends. Her family clung to hope, but as the years slipped away, so too did the belief that answers would ever come. But fate has a strange way of circling back, and sometimes the smallest, most mundane details, a dog's need to walk the same path at the same time every day, can bring the truth clawing back to the surface. The discovery was brutal. Half hidden beneath a tangle of brush and roots was something that didn't belong. A piece of fabric, weathered by time but unmistakably human in its design. The dog pulled harder, its claws scraping the dirt, and that's when the walker saw it. What lay beneath wasn't just fabric, it was bone. Detectives rushed to the scene, their stomachs sinking as they realized the location matched the original case files. The missing woman's route home had cut dangerously close to this path. But how had everyone missed it? How had 20 years passed with her body lying only steps away from where search parties had once combed? The bones were taken for analysis, and what came back stunned everyone. Not only did the remains belong to the missing woman, but there were traces left behind. DNA, the kind of evidence that hadn't existed in the early days of the case but now carried the power to resurrect the truth. Investigators expected the profile to match a stranger, a random predator lost to time. But the results pointed closer to home. Someone who had been questioned before. Someone who had given interviews, wiped tears, and insisted they were as desperate for answers as anyone else. The DNA told a different story. And when police knocked on his door 20 years later, the mask cracked. The alibi that once seemed unshakable now crumbled under new scrutiny. Small contradictions, once dismissed, grew into glaring red flags. His timeline didn't add up. His statements, when replayed, sounded rehearsed, mechanical. The community that had once rallied around him now whispered in horror. But here's where the story takes an even darker turn. Because while detectives closed in, they uncovered something else. Another disappearance, years earlier, dismissed at the time as a runaway. Different town, different state, but the same chilling details. Could it be coincidence, or had this dog walker stumbled not just on one cold case, but the thread that unraveled a far bigger nightmare? The evidence was building. The walls were closing in. And for the first time in 2 decades, justice felt close enough to touch. But then something happened. Before police could make their move, before the handcuffs could snap shut, the suspect disappeared. Gone. And what investigators would find in his abandoned home would leave them more disturbed than they'd ever been before. This case wasn't over. It was only beginning.